the Red River Shootout, which ended up, living up to its billing. A lot of people had Texas. I picked Texas, but thought this game was going to be close. I had Texas winning 30-27, somewhere around there. Probably the two things that surprised me the most in this game, and a lot of people, and they should, are going to talk about the play calling at the 1 yard line in one of those final drives for Texas where they weren't able to get it in. They had 4 plays from the one, wanted to turn around and pitch it, kind of got finesse with it instead of just getting up there, running your quarterback sneak. If you're allowed to push the quarterback into the end zone, then push the quarterback into the end zone. If you can't do that 4 times from the one and get in there, you don't deserve to lose. But sitting out here, writing a Nicholas Sparks book on the perimeter of the line of scrimmage at the 1 yard line 3 times, and then trying to run the Seahawks play, the NFL pick play that we saw actually not work for the Seahawks in the Super Bowl, that surprised me with Sark. I'm not one of these people who's going to come over and be like, oh, Sark's a bad play caller now. The two things that shocked me: one, Quinn Ewers looked nervous for the first 2.5 quarters of that game. Came out, looked nervous. But you already played at Bama. You've balled out against Bama. You've played in big games. You know what this game's about. You played in it last year. You beat him to sleep last year. How are you coming out nervous in this one? To me, it looked like Dylan Gabriel wanted to go out there and take the game, and he didn't play perfect. He was 23 of 36 or 38 for 285 and a touchdown, didn't turn the ball over. Quinn throws 2 picks. He was efficient, 31 of 37. He did have 350 yards, but 2 very, very crucial interceptions. But if it's me, I'm wondering how the hell Quinn Ewers comes out and is nervous. I mean, there were plays where he could barely even get to the check down. He was staring at the rush. I mean, they were watching the game together, and that's what shocked me. But if you're Texas and you're down at the 1 yard line, you've brought in the Savion kid at quarterback, right? Kind of your runner. Why not just line him up under center and push him in the end zone? I don't understand that part of it. But the Quinn Ewers playing nervous, and then Oklahoma out physicaling Texas. Oklahoma felt like the more physical team to me yesterday. And that front 7 from Texas and the defense in general, and you got to give credit to Oklahoma. I totally get it. I mean, Dylan Gabriel runs for $113 too. I mean, you got Farouk, who we talked about, went for 130 on 5 catches. Drake Stoops, little Bob's son, Haru, the great white ninja, out there making big plays late. It just, I was shocked. I was shocked that Texas's defense looked like the Texas defense that we used to make fun of that would cost them every year. And we thought it was different. And hats off to Oklahoma. But, man, it just felt like Oklahoma was more physical.
Well, 3 of the things that we had talked about all week and that I was particularly interested in. One, Oklahoma secondary. Remember, Blaine, I asked you, can they hold up with this, this awesome receiving core that Texas has with A.D. Mitchell and Xavier Worthy? Not only did they hold up, but they were bringing the physicality. And that second interception that Ewers threw down at the goal line, that was forced. That was forced by the OU secondary. 2, the run game for Oklahoma. They were running the ball very effectively, and a lot of that was quarterback designed run with Dylan Gabriel. Q draw, Q power. And there was even one time they went to empty, they checked down at the goal line in the second half, and I said, it's quarterback draw. It is, and that's exactly what it was. And I thought that's what it was going to be on the final play. I thought they were going to call quarterback draw again with Dylan Gabriel down at the end. He kind of gave a little shoulder fake and then threw it in the corner of the end zone for a touchdown.
Was it smash, David? Did they run smash?
It looked like smash, but what it was,
I couldn't see the one
this
route.
is going to be, I'm thinking about this for the huddle up this week. It was a version of smash, but what was cool is they motioned to it. So that linebacker didn't have any coverage responsibilities but at the beginning of the formation. Then all of a sudden someone motions to you. Again, it's another example of how these guys are using motion so effectively. And in a split second, now you have responsibility with wide receiver stacked. And then he ended up biting on the whip route like we talked about last week with the Georgia play and left Brock Bowers, except this time it was a corner. But then the third thing was, can OU's front get to Quinn Ewers? I think they had 5 sacks, something like that. All of that combined is more than enough in a rivalry game to keep you in it. But I'll say this right now. Texas, to me, is still very much in the conversation. I understand what you're saying with Quinn Ewers, but I feel like, look, this is a rivalry game. This is why I took Oklahoma in this one. You got beat 49-0 last year. That's all Oklahoma's been hearing. Texas is bet. excuse me, Texas is back. Texas is awesome. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a rematch of this in the conference championship. And you know how hard it is to beat a team twice.
Well, yeah, I mean, you look at Kansas State now, losing on the road there at Oklahoma State. I would be shocked if this wasn't a rematch in the Big 12 championship. Blaine, it wasn't like Texas couldn't run the ball either. I mean, Jonathan Brooks took off for 130 yards on 22 carries and had a touchdown. Yeah, a lot in the second half. But having said all that, Blaine, having said all that we did, all that led up to that last Oklahoma drive, Texas got a little conservative when on that third down play before they kicked their field goal. But you were up 3 with not a lot of time at the end of the game, and you needed one stop to win, and you couldn't get it. Texas is still in it. They're going to have a chance. I think with the way the Pac-12 is going to cannibalize itself, a one-loss Big 12 champion can still get in, obviously. I know we're going to talk about the ACC. We're going to talk about the SEC and then the Big 10. Your thoughts on number one, Oklahoma. Is this a national championship caliber team? And 2, with Texas, do you still believe?
I'll say this. If you watch that game, Oklahoma looked like the better football team.
I mean, they really did, to be honest with you.
One, Quinn, I mean, after that first interception and he got sacked, his eyes were down the first half for most of the first half. There's a couple things that surprised me in this game. Is one, you don't have to run the ball on first down. And a lot of teams are starting to do this, and it's worrisome to me. I get you want to be ahead of the chains, you want to be on time. But if it's not working, all right, you don't have to prove to yourself or the other team that you can run the ball on first down. And Sark's usually the guy who can work backwards a little bit, and we're going to come out and throw it to open up the run. Texas in that first half started off a lot of drives with a 1-yard gain on first down, a 2-yard gain on first down. And now your tendencies just automatically skyrocket, right? I think it hurt Texas a lot losing that guard early. But Brent Venables in year 2 is already ahead of schedule and already, in my opinion, ahead of Texas. Physicality, they got their ass whooped the whole game, especially in the trenches. And I know late in the second half, Texas started to come along. But, in the first half, me and Jake were talking about this during the game, not a lot of deep shots for Texas, right?
No.
Not a lot of deep shots at all. Oklahoma was sitting, coming down, and you saw Quinn got nervous throwing these balls because it blew my mind watching Quinn Ewers sitting back in the pocket, going through progressions, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, and nobody's open. I refuse to think that nobody's open. So if it's me, and right now, Dylan Gabriel in Oklahoma looked like one of the better top 5 teams in the nation, in my opinion, from a defensive standpoint. This secondary leads college football in interceptions. They're good, all right, but I don't think they're great. I think the reason this game went like it did is because of that front 7 for Oklahoma was dialing it up in Brent Venables and what he does. I like Oklahoma. If they play again, it might be worse because you got to remember, if they don't block that punt, right, you scored 23 points against Oklahoma. That's what you did. All right. And this fiery offense we feed from Texas, and then we go watch Bama do that to A&M. So there's a lot of questions on who shows up on a week in and week out basis.
Oh, yeah,
and that's coaching. That's coaching. That's having your guys ready. Oklahoma wanted this game more. A minute, 15 seconds left when you go up, all right? There wasn't a worried Oklahoma player on that sideline.
Well, I think, too, though, we got to say Oklahoma, I don't think as much pressure was on Oklahoma as was on Texas. It looked like Oklahoma was playing freer to me. It looked like they were playing more, balls to the wall isn't the word, but it just looked like they were playing with nothing to lose. Right. You saw them because, Texas was dominating on special teams. Even when Oklahoma tried to run that reverse that got called back, they blocked the punt, and then Oklahoma missed the field goal. And you had some things happen. You had the big kickoff return from Texas, I believe it was. But it just felt like Oklahoma was just playing more loose than Texas was. Everything felt in that first half just felt hard for Texas, like they were having to just earn every inch that they were getting. And Oklahoma was like, well, we're going to cross them, we're going to bring them, we're going to do all this. I don't know. That's just kind of the instinctual feeling of it.